Coalition to Address Synthetic Drug Threats, that is preventing drug use. My name is Brian Morales from the U.S. Department of State, and greetings from a snowy Washington, D.C. Tonight. I have a few administrative announcements that I'm going to run through before I turn it over to our co-chairs to get us started on today's session. I would like to discuss three different sectors that we are engaging and discuss what initiatives and activities we have underway. First, I'd like to discuss civil society engagement. On February 1st, the Global Coalition Civil Society Forum will take place. It will be hosted by the Vienna NGO Committee in collaboration with the New York NGO Committee. The two sessions will take place 9 to 11 and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central European Time. Coalition governments, that's all of you colleagues, are encouraged to attend and to hear the remarks from the civil society partners. Secondly, we are encouraging global coalition national dialogues between you, your governments, and your civil societies. The United States will host our Global Coalition National Dialogue on the 24th of January. It will be hosted by the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy and open to U.S. civil society organizations. We have engaged them and shared with them background on the coalition and its work, and we are inviting them to deliver statements. We'll record this content and we will post it on our website. So as I mentioned, we are inviting all of you also to host your own meetings with civil society organizations to discuss the global coalition and synthetic drug threats, and would ask that you provide us either with the recording or with a written summary of those discussions so that we can share it with coalition members. Finally, the Vienna NGO Committee has committed to collect additional feedback and also recommendations from civil society organizations, and we will also be posting this on our coalition website. The second sector is the university sector, and I would like to introduce to you ICU-DDR, which is the International Consortium of Universities for Drug Demand Reduction. This organization was established in 2016 with funding from INL, our office, and currently has 422 universities from around the world. ICU-DDR has committed to convene universities to reflect on the challenges of synthetic drugs and to provide us with research, policy ideas, and programming recommendations. The discussions will focus on all three of the working group themes, even though ICU-DDR traditionally focuses on drug demand reduction. And the activities that it will undertake are the following. First, during the months of February and March, regional focus group virtual meetings in 6 regions, one meeting for Africa, another for Asia and the Pacific, for Europe, Latin America and the Caribbean, the Middle East, the US and Canada. The goal will be to develop recommendations and prepare a report for all of you, for government representatives. Secondly, 6 regional virtual meetings will take place with universities and governments to discuss recommendations and to incorporate views from government representatives. And a coalition report will be developed for coalition members. This will take place between April to June. And then in June, ICU-DDR will also conduct an inventory of university initiatives that can support the Global Coalition's work and document those on the website. We will also be engaging the private sector. We are finalizing the engagement plan for that sector, and that will be presented at next month's session. Next, I want to discuss a new communication feature that we will be posting on our website that will allow participants to share content similar to LinkedIn, to Facebook, and to YouTube. It will go live in February and require account activation from coalition participants. So in the coming weeks, you will receive an email inviting you to create an account and to begin posting content. We welcome you especially to use this to share your recommendations for the coalition, particularly as we enter that recommendation phase, but also you can share news, experiences, documents, photos. I have a screenshot here that I want to share with you of what this might look like, where we have, for example, you could see the description here, say something where you can type in, you can add images, you can post, and so it'll be sort of an interactive space, a wall, if you will, where you can scroll down and see what others have posted and comment and have a sort of ongoing discussion. Now, I want to end tonight's administrative announcements by discussing the initiatives and pledges, a little bit of what is ahead of us over the months to come. We asked international organizations to share with us initiatives that they recommend, and so they came to us over the months of December and January, and we have received over 100, actually 118 initiatives from international organizations of what concrete actions we can take. Those will be posted in an initiatives menu that we are working on during the months of January and February. We will post an initial tranche soon, and then we will be updating this regularly for all of you. What does an initiative menu item look like? Let me show you an example. We first discuss the initiative or the project. We provide a description. Then there is some background documentation, the accomplishments to date, if it's an existing activity. In many cases, they are new activities. The program activities detail what concrete steps will be taken, outcomes at the global and national level, participation of current countries, and then we also have a point of contact in case you would like to participate in this initiative on this menu. So in February, we will continue posting the initiatives on the Coalition website. Then between February to March, the Coalition participants will begin identifying these initiatives of interest and express that interest directly to the points of contact. Then in March, I know many of us will be at the Commission on Narcotic Drugs in Vienna at the CND, so that will be another opportunity to discuss the initiatives. And we will begin the implementation phase from April to July. And then these activities, these initiatives will run for numerous years, but they will begin April to July. So this is a bit of the process that is ahead of us. But I also want to end by sharing with you what the concrete recommendation process will be. Our team has reviewed topics from the monthly meetings that have taken place already and those that are forthcoming over the coming couple of months. And so based on that, we are creating a draft list of recommendations, which we will share in February with the co-chairs and will also post on our website. On March 6 and 7, we will have a meeting of the working groups, where sub-working group co-chairs will report to working group co-chairs the progress that has been made in the coalition and also share the list of recommendations. Following that meeting, we will again update those recommendations on the website, and we will further invite comments from participants through the feature that I previously shared on the posting system that we will have on the website. So that is all for my administrative announcements. Apologies, because I know it was a little bit long. If it was a lot of information, no worries, because I will deliver it all over again in about 55 minutes for the next session. So I would like to turn it over now to our co-chairs for today's session to begin our presentations. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Brian, for such an exciting and wonderful presentation for the administrative announcements and what will happen in the next few months. With me as co-chair is Director General Ivana Thursin, Human Resources and Administration, Psychiatry. And we will have 3 presentations for this session with one country testimonial. I will be introducing the participants. I will be introducing the presenters, and then Dr. Ivana will be doing the wrap-up. So for our first presenter for the media-based interventions, let's listen to a video from the director of the Claremont Graduate University, USA, Professor William Crano, to present the Claremont Prevention Media program and how it is being managed, what and how they transmit the topic.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bill Crano. I'm a professor of psychology at Claremont Graduate University in Southern California. Today, I want to talk to you about the effective use of the media in drug prevention. You'll see why in my brief presentation, why I think it's important. So bear with me while I get my PowerPoint running. Let's see, screen share. This. Okay. Over many years, I've come to understand the crucial role of persuasion in preventing drug use. I come to this conclusion because persuasion has been the missing ingredient in almost all previous unsuccessful prevention efforts with which I am aware. We intervene by persuading our audience to avoid the dangers of risky substances. We don't try to scare them or make them laugh at us and so forth. Why persuasion? Well, let's look at what's been tried in the past. Yikes. These ads are threatening or disgusting. You really don't want to see them more than once. Here's another set, less threatening, less disgusting, equally ineffective. This is President Reagan's wife, Nancy. Just Say No was her campaign. It didn't work. This old guy on farmer on the prairies, meth, I'm on it. No, you're not. It makes light of the whole thing, and it doesn't work. Theoretically, it's not unusual. None of these presentations, in theory, would be expected to persuade anyone. And they didn't. But we continue to use them. Why is that? Because what's the alternative? We have one. It's called prevention. It's called persuasion. It's called persuasive prevention. We've refined a system of persuasive message development based on a powerful evidence base. It avoids disgusting or attempting to scare people straight. To avoid risky drugs, it relies on convincing them that the risk isn't worth it, isn't worth the gains, and it works. Our efforts over the past 25 years have drawn support from National Institute on Drug Abuse in the United States, and since 2018, the U.S. State Department's INL, CCOD, and the Colombo Plan. Since 2018, we've been heavily involved in training. We've trained a cadre now of 60 prevention professionals across 19 countries. They formed an interactive group who facilitate each other's work. They are in not constant, but relatively frequent communication. They learn about the advantages of the media, such as reach. You can get almost anywhere using the media, no matter how isolated the group is that you're looking for. You can tailor a message to specific subgroups. Media generate excitement and attract volunteers, and we need volunteers. It influences the prevention agenda in communities. It's fast, and it's cost-effective if it's done properly. If it's done improperly, it's not worth it. Then they learn about the advantages of media in prevention campaigns. After that, they learn about the necessary considerations that you have to worry about. Like, who's your audience? Are you trying to deal with resolute non-users who've never used and swear they never will? Vulnerable non-users who've never used but think, maybe? Or non-users who are already using? Which substance? Do you target a substance or you use all drugs that is on your prevention materials? All drugs weakens your effects. Keep that in mind. Does your message source appeal to your audience? That's easy to do. What inputs are available to you? What do you have in your hand to foster your campaigns? And what are your goals? Do you want to influence parents or children or schools or legislators or young adults at bars? Do you want to stop or delay initiation or persuade users to quit? Media is not a particularly good treatment device, so persuading people to quit using the mass media, not so good. How will you measure success? What are you looking for? What is your message? Is it structured to take advantage of years of research on persuasion? Can your intuition substitute for evidence-based knowledge gathered over 60 years of intense research? Is anyone, including you, that smart? We have developed a quit model to help us develop creative, persuasive communications. There's so much information out there that's very difficult to figure out how to put it all together. We've done it for you in this model. And the model is very powerful, and it works like a charm. I'm going to show you what it is right now. These are the elements that you have to have in a persuasive message in this order if it's going to work. If it doesn't have this, it's probably not going to do what you want it to do. First of all, you've got to engage the audience. Ensure that the audience attends to your message and stays involved. Now, if you're doing a 60-second TV spot, that's not too difficult to do. With a big billboard, not too difficult. I mean, we know how to do, and marketing people have taught us how to do this very, very well. Get a message out there, get people involved with what you have to say, and keep them there for the duration of your approach. Question, simply ask a question. That's the next step. Ask a question, simple. Do you think cannabis is not harmful? Or really, do all your friends use alcohol? Simple question, no contention. I don't want to start a fight here with my audience. But that mere question begins to generate doubt in people's minds as to, doesn't everyone feel this way? And now you tell them in the undermine phase, no, they don't. You challenge the consensual nature of the attitude or dispute facts with relevant evidence, with real evidence, not something that Uncle Harry said. Indicate the weakness of the assumptions the person holds. Suggest, don't demand. Present the evidence. Don't say you're stupid if you don't agree. Inform. Bring strong information to your arguments. Strong evidence by credible, visible sources. In other words, I don't like over just this grand voice. You should listen to this because with no person there. No, bring a face there. It works better. And then finally, persuade, the final piece of the strategy. All of these parts have opened up your audience to your message. And you need to present that message in the information phase and use strategies developed over the years to make them listen and accept what you have to say. We know this stuff from years and years of research. Strong messages make a difference. Evidence-based messages, misdirection, two-step flow of communication. Persuade a person who has a group of others who believe what he has to say or what she has to say, who listen to this person. An opinion leader, as they're called. Use experts, use irony, use metaphors, use stories. All of those things, all of those techniques work in persuasion. And now you've got a group, because of the equip, who's ready to listen and susceptible to what you have to say. What's our experience? Well, we have a three-pronged effort to try to deal with drug use, both in young people, 12 to 18-year-olds. Now we're even working with 8 and 9-year-olds in a project in Botswana, and young adults from 21 to 35, thereabouts. We do training. Our system has proved effective in developing a cadre of trained professionals who interact via WhatsApp groups. They interact with other certified graduates that we've trained in the program. Long and short versions of the training have been used and have exceeded our expectation. The training is based on UNODC International Standards on Drug Use Prevention and on the UPC program of media-based prevention interventions, both of which we help develop. We don't have any orphans in our program. Once you finish the program, you're part of the family. We will continue to help you. We continue to engage with our cadres in developing evidence-based communications, media campaign development, campaign modification, messages, approaches. And they ask. And finally, we almost always are involved in the M&E, the monitoring and evaluation part. This is the thing that gives most people severe headaches because they're not trained for it. We are. We have a whole stable of people who love this sort of thing, including me. And so That's what we do. Thank you for watching. If you'd like more information, let me know, and I'll be happy to help out. Thanks again for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. William. That's such an amazing and comprehensive presentation. And I know that our 68 participants who are listening right now, ranging from the group of prevention experts and treatment experts, have learned a lot on the value of persuasion, and we were able to connect what works and what doesn't work in prevention on media, evidence-based strategies. And we took note of the equip model and the engage, undermine, inform, and persuade concept. And we also took note of your three-pronged effort to address and target our adolescents and also the young adult. We will be reserving time for the open forum, but of course, we need to move to the second presenter in the interest of time. So let's welcome the presentation on working with media, entertainment industry, and sports industry to promote drug prevention, advocacy, anti-stigma. And this will be delivered by the Director of Planning, National Institute of Psychiatry, Mexico. Let's welcome Director Raúl Martín del Campo.
I apologize, Maria. I think that there may have been a difference with the agendas. We actually have two testimonials for Bill Crano's presentation. There should be one first from the Philippines who will be speaking live, if I'm not mistaken.
And that is correct. I'm confirming that I'm lined up for the following presentations. On my schedule, I have Jose Patrick from the Philippines. It's going to be live, and then we have two more country presentations.
Jose Patrick, are you on the line?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. I understand that you have a bit of information to share as well. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. And I am about to share although I already forwarded it, but I can also share from my computer here, my presentation for today's activity.
Feel free to share from your computer. Yes.
And we can see your presentation. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Before I start, I just want to greet the Secretary, Catalino Cruiser, of the Catalino Coiser, of the Chairman of the Dangerous Drugs Board. Good morning, sir. And it's an honor to present before this this group of people, especially with you watching, sir. Thank you. And with that, sir, with your permission, I will start with my presentation. So I am a member of the batch 2018 of the Claremont Graduate University, or CGU, training in media-based substance use prevention. So one of the highlights of my training is learning new theories and models in prevention science. And one of those models that really became useful to us is called the two-step flow of communication model by Lazarsfeld and Katz. This is something that I learned directly from Dr. William Crano. So this two-step flow of communication model says that it's very effective to persuade people if you will be utilizing opinion leaders. So opinion leaders are people who have a certain degree or a high command of influence over specific people who are called their opinion followers. So with this, we can take a strategic approach in our communication and media campaign by focusing on the opinion leaders. As seen in this slide, you can see here the framework of this model. So right now, instead of going directly to the target audience, we can instead strategically look for opinion leaders. These are people who fit the description. These are people who has a command over has an influential command over a certain group of people. So with this dynamics, we decide that that is very useful to our situation because my agency, the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, has some challenges in terms of manpower. Now, to address this, we decided to adopt this model because number one, we can be strategic on how we go about our communication and media strategies. And number two, we can be assured because of the dynamics involved in this model that the people who will be delivering the message to the general public will be effective in terms of carrying the communications that we want to disseminate. Now, on February 9, we formally adopted the two-step flow and we called it ALAB. ALAB is short for Advocacy Laban sa Illegal na Droga. In English, that means Advocacy Against Illegal Drugs. So with this, we decided to choose as opinion leaders local government officials because they have a certain degree of influence towards their constituents. Now, the model is effective because the opinion leader because the local government officials takes the role of the opinion leaders. On the other hand, the opinion followers is the constituents. So with this being said, the setup in the local government is a good fit to the framework of the two-step flow. With this, our targets for 2023 are 81 provinces of the Philippines. These are all the provinces and 17 cities and municipality of the National Capital Region. Now, with this, we can clearly say that we were able to utilize the influence of the local government officials on their constituents. Hence, on December 31, 2023, we were able to accomplish our targets. And so far, this is the biggest targets that we've hit in such a short period of time with less financial requirements, less personal requirements because of the help of the two-step flow. So just to go back a few slides, this is how we used to do things. This is how our communication flows from PDEA or the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency directly to the people. But with a two-step flow, we were able to focus our resources on strategic individuals, which is the local government officials, as shown on the screen. But still, you can see in the framework, in the diagram that I'm showing you, that we still communicate directly to the individuals or to the general public. However, with minimal effort this time, because with the two-step flow, we were able to exponentially increase our reach and increase our capacity to deliver the message to the people. So with that, we can clearly say that the two-step flow that we learned from Claremont Graduate University, especially under Dr. Crano, we were able to address the lack of manpower. And we are assured that the people whom we trained through capacity building and policy issuances will be able not just deliver the message, but they can also influence. Thank you, sirs and ma'ams.
Thank you, Dr. Patrick, for such a very comprehensive presentation on the experience of the Philippines, particularly on capacitating our prevention professionals so that they'll be able to engage and also to better coordinate with the community for efforts on media-based intervention, which is one of the learnings from the Claremont University experience. So there had been changes with the flow, and I was informed that the next testimony will come from Brazil, Ma'am Sarah.
Hello everyone, my name is Samuel Bechol. I'm from Brazil, representing the ISAP Brazil and Free Mind Mobilization, and in the name of Paulo Martelli, our director, I send you our hello, and I will try to talk about what we learned, what we received from this media course that we did in Claremont University. So I wrote some information here just to not get loose with the translation, with the language, but I will try to be fast and explain everything that I feel about what we learned in there. It's always been a pleasure to be able to talk to you about this training that we received from Claremont Graduate University. We had the chance to access extremely relevant content for us. We were able to learn how to use those theories, learn how to use those frameworks and concepts to develop better communication campaigns. As you know, we are developing a communication campaign for the city of Campinas. We are implementing the prevention, where we are implementing the prevention pilot project, a project that has 3 pillars: research, training, and communication. In terms of communication, we carry out a survey with the city population, and the results of this research gave us a path to set up this campaign. Our campaign will talk about parental skill, and to develop this campaign we use several tools learned in the media course held on the Claremont University. The theories of two-step flow, equip model, game frame, a lot of other studies gave us a quality to build this campaign. We are still finalizing some process and mainly raising some funds, but recording and finalizing the campaign, we believe that we are archiving it very soon. I want to say something that I think is very important. It may seem that the content of this course for those of you from the United States is something that has been working for a long time, something normal. But remember, this is not used here in Brazil, and I'm sure in many other countries in Latin America or the world. We need to make people understand how important it is to use those theories, those information, those studies to build better campaigns. So our work here now, in addition to develop this campaign and other campaigns and our work that we do here in Brazil, is to take information for communication science and ensure that other people and also the governments for our country no longer create campaigns that are ineffective. But they use studies and theories to develop something relevant, and they fulfill the objectives that we believe that is save lives. Thank you so much for the opportunity. My sincere thanks. Big hug from Brazil.
Thank you very much for such an inspiring presentation on the communications campaign that Brazil has been conducting, particularly in ensuring that the standards for the communication, messaging, and strategies will be evidenced in that's such a big effort to ensure standards to be met for media prevention. And we'll have time for open forum later. And I'd like to ask Ma'am Sarah to flash the next presentation.
Absolutely. Our next presentation will be from Matej Kozir on media advocacy, social marketing, and making the case with media. So if you can cue it up, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Sarah. Thank you for the quick updates. There had been changes with the flow, and thank you for the quick adjustments.
You as well. Thank you.
Dear Global Coalition partners and participants, it is a great honor for us at the UTRIP Institute to be part of this initiative to address synthetic drugs threats and to introduce an important training opportunity in the field of advocacy. Public health advocacy plays a crucial role in promoting the health and well-being of our communities. Drug demand reduction professionals, including policy and decision makers, have a responsibility to engage in advocacy to address current and future drug policy challenges. This certainly also applies to the field of synthetic drugs. Advocacy knowledge and skills are essential for drug demand reduction scientists, researchers, practitioners, and policy and decision makers to potentially influence policy and decision-making processes for better drug demand reduction related policies and practices, long-term and sustainable funding, research, and education or training programs. So very obviously, there is a growing recognition of the need for advocacy knowledge and skills in drug demand reduction, with an eye toward forging stronger relationships with policy and decision makers and other key stakeholders in the field. Advocacy is key to the use of research to inform policy and decision makers about evidence-based policies and practices. Activities include providing expert testimony, writing position papers, press releases, organizing press conferences, and using social media, and other efforts designed to increase the visibility and recognition of evidence-based drug demand reduction interventions. Our training course provides a template for drug demand reduction scientists, researchers, practitioners, and policy and decision makers to build advocacy knowledge and skills, and increase the role of professionals in setting evidence-based policy and practice, including in the field of synthetic drugs. The course includes modules on policy and decision-making processes, effective coalition building, and also a very important module which is aimed at supporting professionals to make the case for evidence-based policy and practice with media advocacy. Media advocacy is a powerful strategy that utilizes media channels to achieve media coverage, promote different messages, influence public opinion, and advocate for policy change. The expected outcome of our training is significantly improved strategic use of different media-related methods such as press releases, web blogs, interviews, press conferences, articles, and social media posts. Very important challenge in the field of synthetic drugs is also cooperation and effective communication with the entertainment sector, or joint addressing of various publics and stakeholders active in this field. This content represents an integral part of our advocacy training course, especially within the module on media advocacy. To conclude, with strategic and responsible use of the knowledge and skills gained in such advocacy training, our joint advocacy efforts and campaigns can be a powerful tool for improving situation in the field of drug demand reduction and also in the field of synthetic drugs. Thank you very much for your attention, and we are looking forward to working with you in the near future.
Thank you very much, Director Kasir, the Director for the Institute of Research and Development of Slovenia. And we have learned a lot from the presentation, particularly on how this can be linked with the policy, as well as the efforts for capacity building that you're conducting. That's such a very strategic move to ensure that there's quality and engagement with the other sectors, also with the entertainment media. And for the next presenter, Ma'am Sarah, can you share with us?
Absolutely. And thank you, Dr. Dumlau, for your flexibility and understanding. Things are always funny on the day of. So our next presenter will be discussing developing global youth networks. Our speaker is Soo-Hoon Hong from the UNODC, and we'll have a recording. And then following Ms. Hong's presentation, we will have a testimonial from Dichin Choudin from the Colombo Plan Youth Forum. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sue Hong. I work in the Prevention, Treatment, and Rehabilitation section at UNODC, and with a particular focus on our prevention work with youth and for youth. And today I'll be speaking about youth engagement in prevention work and the value of mainstreaming youth in prevention. And I think it's very relevant and important that we're talking about youth and prevention because the world today is home to the largest generation of young people in history, nearly 1.8 billion. And nearly 90% of them are living in developing countries, where they also constitute a large proportion of the demographics there. But many of these youth face challenges, and often disproportionately so. And so at this point, I'd just like to highlight that United Nations also has a priority to reorient and mainstream its activities towards youth through the Youth 2030, which is the first ever UN system-wide youth strategy, which aims for a world in which the human rights of every young person is realized, where every young person is empowered to achieve their full potential and is also recognized for their agency, for their resilience, and their positive contributions as agents of change. And I understand that the sub-working group has already been talking a lot about prevention and early prevention, and the importance of supporting children throughout their safe and healthy development. But we should also consider how young people are navigating through their transition into adulthood, and that it is really truly beneficial for everybody involved to truly engage and work with young people and to support them in standing up for their rights and creating conditions that allow them to progress and play an active role and be more than a bystander within their communities. And within this context of drug use prevention, I think it's important to provide opportunities of meaningful youth engagement throughout the spectrum of prevention work. And youth can bring such innovative and fresh insights and ideas to your projects and initiatives. They can also bring different perspectives to create holistic programs and policies, which can all start all the way from identifying the issues from their points of views, planning a project, discussing with stakeholders, sharing their youth perspectives, implementing, and of course, just as important, is participating in the evaluation as well. And so youth can also be involved in decision-making discussions or consultations, but then also they can also take part in the advocacy work to promote prevention initiatives. But at this point, I would also like to highlight that as youth become more and more actively involved, it is also as important that this collaboration and this experience for them is as equally meaningful, beneficial, and that it provides them with the opportunity to learn and grow. And so here I will just quickly describe some key considerations that you might want to think about when engaging with young people. First of all, active reach out. Reach out in your communities, youth organizations, schools or universities, or other groups that might be oriented towards empowering youth as leaders and or working on substance use prevention with them. And this is because you should really be making the effort to meet them where they are. Really truly support their learning and their empowerment as young leaders through various youth events and forums that they can benefit from by participating in learning. And whenever having various consultations with them, really listen to them. Take the time to really engage with young people, process how their feedback could positively impact your projects and initiatives. And if possible, throughout these processes, do positively consider providing some funding support for youth-led projects or for the youth's participation in your consultations or your projects, etc. And as you create these opportunities for bonding and creating perhaps support networks for youth amongst youth, because as you are engaging with youth, please also do know that you might be empowering them or inspiring them to continue on their volunteer work in this area, or even choosing an early career in drug demand reduction as well. And lastly, I really don't think that this can be highlighted enough, but really try not to let it become just another tick the box exercise, and really treat young people the way that you would want to be treated yourself. And at UNODC, we're also reinforcing youth mainstreaming across the various mandates. And specifically for drug prevention, we've been supporting through learning opportunities and networking through the annual youth forum that we've had running for more than 10 years now, through which we connect young people from all around the globe who are active in prevention or health promotion, and to really support through by providing a platform to educate, engage, and empower. The big 3 E's, as we like to call them, to better protect the health of themselves, but also their peers. And so through the youth forum, the youth learn about, what is effective prevention. They network with other young people from around the world who are similarly interested in prevention efforts and work and youth empowerment, so that they later on can also become each other's resources and support networks. And lastly, we hope that it really empowers youth to become active in their schools or communities and youth groups to advocate for substance use prevention. And UNOC is also funding small youth-focused projects in various parts of the world through our grant mechanism. But recent developments are that we're also moving towards involving and helping youth become the implementers of prevention. And this is through a new peer-to-peer program that is currently in development called Friends in Focus. So hopefully in the near future, this will support young people with the tools and the how-tos to be actively and meaningfully engaged in prevention efforts. And as I conclude, I really hope that the key takeaway message of the importance of working with youth and not just for youth or to youth really resonates with the participants on this call. Youth really do have a role to play in prevention beyond just being the end receivers of a program. So it really is important to work together and really feel it at heart that youth can make a difference. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Sue. That was a very strong message, particularly for us prevention professionals, that we need to engage the youth meaningfully. And I like when you said that we inspire and empower, and that we need to do our prevention efforts with them and not to them. That's such a very challenging message, and something that we will also be trying to apply, reaching the largest population, which are the youth. So let's have a testimonial from one of the delegates to previous UNODC Youth Forum. Let's welcome Jasmine from Malaysia. Over to you, Sarah and Cyril.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, I think since we're coming short on time, and again, Dr. Jamal, I apologize for the changes in the flow, but we are going to post Jasmine's presentation onto our website, and now we can open the floor to Dichan from Colombo Plan, who can also speak to the youth networks as well. Dichan, I believe you are on the line, correct? Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Wonderful.
Hi,
Please
Dichan.
go ahead.
Hi. Hello, everyone. So I have a short presentation on the Colombo Plan youth initiatives. So my journey started with, I'm Dichan Sharan, by the way, program officer of the Colombo Plan since 2012. And my journey with Colombo Plan started in 2009 when I attended one of their youth programs. So brief history, we started engaging young people regionally since 2002 with the first Asian Youth Congress that was held in Bali, Indonesia. And until 2012, we had 9 Asian Youth Congresses, which were replicated in Afghanistan, Iran, Pakistan, the Philippines as well, in Palawan, and India. And then in 2014, we decided to make it global. We collaborated with the National Rehabilitation Center in Abu Dhabi, UAE. That's when we had the first global forum for youth leaders on drug use prevention. And since then, we have had 3 global youth forums. 2018 in Nairobi and 2022 in Abu Dhabi again. For this, we again collaborated with ISAP and NRC. And the youth forum has been replicated in the Caribbean. We collaborated with CCAT, OAS. So far, there has been 2 Caribbean Youth Forum, and recently we collaborated with the African Union in Africa to have the first African Youth Forum in Zambia. And we also collaborate on national level with, we replicated it in India, and we are going to have another one this year. And the DAP Youth Forum, it focuses on giving knowledge, which talks of science of prevention, understanding SUD, evidence-based intervention, and we also provide them skills, tools for managing prevention projects, and how to influence for prevention programs. I think that's what Dr. Crano was talking about, persuasion. So we teach them this too. And then in terms of practice, we help them develop project proposals and implement the project. We provide them opportunities by giving them, they get to compete for seed grants. And when it comes to networking, we help them partner with government and civil society organizations. And at the core of it, there is also cultural exchange. So we focus on teamwork, youth development, youth leadership, and also the learning process. And then collaboration. When we talk about collaboration, it's also not only the youth collaborating among themselves, but also how do we make the intergenerational connection between the mentors, the mentees, the ones who are going to come after us, the ones who have come before us, and how do we work together in partnership rather than in isolation and think that, okay, they're responsible enough to do things on their own. So when we talk about youth engagement in Claremont, again, going back to, I think Sue's presentation is like, we want to train youth to be able to take active part in the various stages of prevention programming, whether it's about initiating or implementing. So at Claremont, we are mostly focused at the implementation level. We do train them how to influence policies, but we don't focus on policies. Thank you.